This is Cheddar Gorge, which is, well, it's probably one of the most disappointing climbs I've done. I was very excited to find out that there was a climb that started in the birthplace of one of my favourite foods. So maybe I just had high expectations stemming from that, but the climb itself was, well, you'll see. There isn't really a very obvious endpoint, but this is the 100 greatest climbs segment end, which puts it at 3.5 kilometers at 4.7% for a massive elevation gain of 165 meters. So as you're approaching the climb, you pass lots of these slightly tacky looking shops, just cafes, gift shops, fudge shops for some reason, with plenty of good puns about, like the Simply Gorgeous cafe and the mouse hole. Always appreciate that. Can't say any of them look particularly appealing except maybe the cider shop. Or, actually, there's a teddy bear shop as well, which you might need to cheer yourself up from the disappointment of the climb that's to follow. Okay, I should stop being so negative, it's still an alright climb. For the first kilometre or so, you kind of just roll along. Very mild gradients. It does ramp up a few times and you start to think you're actually getting into the climb, but then it drops back down to like 2% again. I've only actually done this climb twice. The first time was last year, but I rode it during, I think, Easter holidays, and it was just absolutely heaving. I didn't realise quite how touristy it can get, and there's also Sportif going on at the same time, so it was a bit of a traffic jam on the climb. Riding through a gorge is still a pretty cool thing with these limestone walls surrounding you. And something I didn't know, rather embarrassingly, until very recently, is that Britain's oldest complete human skeleton was found here about 9,000 years ago, called Cheddar Man. And I was going hard up here, so I was trying to do an effort. It just felt like not much of it was actually a climb. So I just tried to dig in on the steeper section and then carry it over the top bit, which made up probably about half of the climb. I'm also just used to longer climbs at the moment. I'm definitely being overly critical of it. It's still a nice bit of road, barring possible traffic at busier times. Luckily there's lots of other really cool climbs in the area. There's East and West Harptree, a few if you go to Pretty and then drop down. There's Draycott Steep, which is a very, very steep climb. That's actually really close to the top of Cheddar. So if you're in the area, there's loads of arguably better climbs that you can string together into a good ride. I still think it's worth riding once. It's just, yeah. It does ramp up pretty steep around this corner here, but just when you're starting to enjoy being on an actual climb, it's basically over, and it flattens out pretty drastically, quite quickly. And once you get over the steep section, it's pretty much just a false flat all the way to the top. It never ramps up again, that was it. I'll just fast forward through this section. It's still part of the climb, but all the nice scenery's gone, and it's, yeah, I mean, going along at 30 kilometers an hour. I did have a nice tailwind on this day, and to be honest, so much of this climb is flat that having a tailwind or riding with a group probably makes the biggest difference on this climb. And in my biased opinion, if that's the case, then it's not a proper climb. Obviously I'm pretty biased because I just love really steep stuff as well, and probably a lot of cyclists would enjoy this more than some of the absurd lanes. Yeah, this is a bit of a dodgy maneuver here. Maneuver here. The car had broken down on the side, so it's not as bad as it looks, but don't recommend still. I think this lay-by on the right here is where the official segment ends, but I wasn't completely sure, so I just kept on rolling. There's a few segments that are really similar that end at a few different points. The road basically slowly gets more and more gradual, so you do keep climbing for a while even after what's considered the top. But I mean, you're only on about 1 to 2 to 3% gradients, so you're basically done. This was my power for the effort. Not very good. You can see it's pretty spiky in places on the steeper sections. Yeah, so thanks for watching me complaining about this. Don't listen to me too much, it's still a pretty cool climb. I just have weird expectations, I guess. Disappointed to say that I didn't purchase any cheese afterwards. It was a bit busy and just kind of wanted to get out of there.